So, somebody here in this community or multiple people is still delaying the move that God has told them to make. God has either told you to leave a relationship, to depart from a particular mentor, to move from that state or that country, move to a different state or country. God has told you to leave that job. And because of fear, uncertainty, or what the people may think, the fear of the unknown, you're not sure of what's on the other side, you are choosing to remain, even though God has spoken to you many, many times. I've been there before. I've been there before. God has told me to leave jobs, relationships, have told me to move literally to a completely different country where I didn't speak the language, have told me to leave from my hometown and go to a completely different state where I only knew one person. Not once, but twice. I know it. I know that it can be scary. I know that it can be frightening. I know that leaving a 20-year relationship, even though grace has run out in that relationship, is scary to move on and just decide to leave the relationship behind. I know that it can be very scary and it's very challenging to even think about, let alone start packing up and preparing to make the move. But if God is leading you out of that space, knocking on your heart, waking you up in the wee hours of the morning, sending you sign after sign after sign that it's time for you to go, you have to trust it. And it's not going to be easy. However, if there's a missing piece of trust anywhere within you, this is your opportunity to say, God, I'm lacking some trust. And so I am going to pull on the well of trust that you have. And I am going to ask you to add that to me where I am missing some trust, where I am missing some faith. God has an infinite amount of faith and trust that resides within its spirit. That when you need some of it, you can call on it. You can pull on it. God is our source. God is saying, oh, she's plugging into me right now, which means she's needing something, rather it's faith or trust or joy or peace. I'm going to give it to her because she's missing something and she can't get it on her own. I am her source. And so I am going to provide that for her. Going to share two reasons of why God is calling you to move from that particular space. It can be a relationship, it could be a job, it can be a church, it can be your relationship with a mentor, it can be anything. You know what it is that God is calling you out of. One reason is because your path has already been predestined. And in order for God's promises for your life to be fulfilled, you must have specific encounters, situations, experiences, and connections with certain people in order for you to have what it is that God needs for you in this lifetime. Next, you have to remember that you've been praying for certain things. Rather, you've been praying for more peace, more joy, more love, more understanding, maybe a material possession or an opportunity or collaborations or prosperity. Do you think it's going to happen if you remain in these spaces that is no longer serving your highest and greatest good? It can't. It can't. Certain places and spaces are only for a season. So if God is telling you to leave a place and go to a different place, this is a part of your process. This is a part of the process. You must get this in order for you to evolve and to grow and for God to be able to bless you with the lifestyle that you envision for yourself. In order for God to actually bring into physical form those things that you've been on your knees praying for days and weeks and months and sometimes even years. You must be willing to leave the old things behind, because God is doing a new thing. And if God is trying to do a new thing in your life, you have to have new experiences, sis. You got to get this. You have to catch this wisdom. And that what God is telling you to do is not going to always make sense to people. It's not going to always make sense to you. But that's not your business. You have to go and do the thing that God is telling you to do. In the moments that you feel the fear, that you feel uncertain, those are the perfect moments that you go to God and say, God, I am afraid. I'm not sure how I'm going to get my resources. I've never done this before. If you have to shed some tears, you shed some tears. God knows that you're afraid. God knows that you're uncertain. God knows that you're not perfect and that you may make some mistakes in between it. But guess what? God is going to redirect you. That's how beautiful our Father is. All right. I love you, everybody. Catch this word, feel it in your spirit. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.